Hello, it's Friday, October 28th, and you're watching The Big Story with me, Chao Suen. Subscribe to the Straits Times channel to stay up to date with our live news updates. Now, Singapore's job market recovery is showing signs of a slowing momentum. While total employment grew in the third quarter, there was a slight uptick in unemployment rates and a rise in retrenchments. The Manpower Ministry warns that a worsening global economy and higher inflation will impact the job market in the coming months. I'm now joined by Patrick Tay, Assistant Secretary General at NTUC. Thanks for joining us today, Patrick. So, signs of a slowing momentum in the job market in Q3. Does that sound concerning to you? And are you also worried about the small rise in retrenchments?
If you look at this morning's labour market release for Q3, I think on the whole, not unexpected, unemployment remains relatively low, overall at about 2%. Actually, if you look at retrenchment numbers, although it has kind of like doubled compared to the last quarter, if you look at as a whole in the entire year, at least for the first three quarters, it's still much lower than even pre-COVID days. So I think in terms of retrenchment numbers, it doesn't look as alarming. Likewise, also total employment growth. If you look at total employment growth, it has continued a steady rise, which also means that as we open up travel lanes, as we resume back many of the businesses and activities, things are getting better. So on the whole, at least for the first three quarters, from a labour market perspective, remains tight, remains positive. However, I think the key challenge is what lies ahead, the rest of the year as well as next year. I think quite a number of uncertainties are looming, besides geopolitical, global economic outlook, and of course, something that is very close to our hearts: inflation, cost of living, interest rates, and energy prices. I think these are impacting us in a very tangible and very clear way in Singapore. And it's not just Singapore. I think around the world, every country is facing such headwinds. So I think that's the outlook for the rest of the year. I think it's going to be a bit uneven. There's strong demand, at least locally, as we open up travel lanes, for example, like aviation, hospitality. We've seen the likes of what we had in F1, where very, very strong tourism and F&B. But again, there will be headwinds with all what I've shared earlier. And of course, rising energy prices, supply chain disruptions, as well as what's happening globally, may impact different industries in different ways. So I remain cautiously optimistic for 2023.
So you've mentioned that there are headwinds anticipated. So if the Singapore economy does take a turn for the worst in the coming months, what can employees and companies do to prepare for a more challenging environment?
Yes, I really hope we don't go down south. I'm like many of us, we are cautiously optimistic, but we also are mentally prepared for the headwinds. So I think in such a climate, in such conditions, I think important for companies and businesses, including workers. And therefore, the tripartite partners are working hand in hand closely and watching this space very, very closely to see how we can keep up with the times, at the same time also manage some of these curveballs. And therefore, it's a call out to employers and businesses out there as you re-strategize, as you start to pivot, and as you start to resume business as usual. Very, very important to be, to stay ready, relevant, and resilient. Ready for some of these curveballs, at the same time also relevant to the needs and expectations, at the same time also resilient to some of these higher inflation, higher interest rates, and higher energy prices. So I think companies and businesses need to take a leap from that and look at restructuring and even redesigning work and workplaces, and of course continue to attract and retain their workers through more flexibility at work and at workplaces. Likewise, workers too. I think the labour movement, we are working hand in hand through our company training committees, working hand in hand with companies to make sure our workers also pick up the new skills, pick up the relevant skills, pick up the in-demand skills, so as to meet the future of work.
Thank you for your valuable insight, Patrick. This has been Patrick Tay, NTUC's Assistant Secretary General. In other news, HDB resale prices are still rising, but at a slower pace. Figures out today show resale prices rose 2.6% in the third quarter, compared with 2.8% in the second quarter. Analysts expect sales to slow in the next few months due to the cooling measures that kicked in on September 30th. They also predict fewer million-dollar deals to go through. And after months of back and forth and many twists and turns, the world's richest man, Elon Musk, has finally completed his $44 billion acquisition of Twitter. And he immediately fired Twitter's CEO, the CFO, the head of legal policy, trust and safety. Musk, who is also the CEO of both Tesla and SpaceX, plans to delist Twitter and take it private. Protein made out of single-cell microorganisms using air and electricity as its primary raw materials. Sounds odd? Well, come 2024, consumers in Singapore will be able to tuck into bread, pasta and plant-based meats that are infused with the new Solein protein before the rest of the world. Singapore is the first country in the world to grant approval for the use of the yellow microbe-based protein made by Finnish startup Solar Foods. Solar Foods chief executive said that the mustard yellow powder has a delicate umami taste. And if you have no plans for the weekend, why not head down to Marina Bay District on Sunday to watch the inaugural Tour de France Prudential Singapore Criterium. It features 29 top cyclists, including four-time Tour de France winner Chris Froome and 2022 winner Jonas Vingegaard, doing 20 laps around a 3.2-kilometer street circuit. Members of the public can catch the action from viewing areas at the float at Marina Bay Grandstand for free. And those are our top stories for today. Visit straitstimes.com for more news and our YouTube channel for more videos. I'm Chao Suen, and here's wishing you a fantastic Halloween, and I hope all your screams come true this weekend.